We've known for a long time that we especially need the forest, need the wetlands for our own well-being as much as the animals and plants do. If we aren't the ones to make sure that they're preserved, they'll be lost. Enough has been. We don't have much left anymore. We need to protect the land. We need to have sanctuaries. We need to have a place for plants and animals, but also we need those places for us.
The Michigan Nature Association is a nonprofit conservation organization. For the better part of 7 decades now, we have been acquiring property that we identify as critical habitat for rare, threatened, and endangered species. And that's kind of our flavor. That's what we do. From the tip of the Keweenaw Peninsula that juts into Lake Superior, the northernmost part of Michigan, all the way down to the Indiana and Ohio border. We have a statewide network of 180 nature sanctuaries that we own and manage. We were pioneers in it. We were the first land conservancy in the state of Michigan, and we are right now the only statewide land conservancy in the state of Michigan. The organization was incorporated in 1952 by our founding generation. They were remarkable people who were civic-minded and very much involved in their community and saw this as a need that they could fill. The founding generation included a remarkable woman who really has made history in conservation in Michigan and has been inducted in the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame. Her name is Bertha Daubendiek. Bertha drove the organization, sustained it for 50 years. The legacy that she left behind is extraordinary, just simply extraordinary. Probably the signature project that really speaks to Bertha and what the founding generation accomplished was the protection of Estevant pines in 1973. Hundreds of acres of old-growth white pine, one of the largest stands left in the Midwest after the cutover period, was owned by a private company, and they had literally parked bulldozers right outside of the stand, and they were planning on cutting a logging road and clear-cutting the old-growth forest. So Bertha and her colleagues that were with her at the Michigan Nature Association rallied and began a statewide campaign called Pennies for Pines and began some very difficult negotiations with the private company that owned the forest. She managed to buy the property. So the largest old-growth white pine forest in Michigan has been protected and is kind of a living museum of what Michigan used to look like before the cutover period, before we lost our original forests. And I think it's a monument to the vision of the founding generation.
You know, nature really is the foundation of who Michiganders think they are. With the lake shores and wilderness areas, people really identify with Michigan because of the nature. We've been really fortunate that people 70 years ago decided to set aside land and conserve land and nature for future generations. Michigan Nature Association has added to the network of places that are important to protect across the state.
You know, the reason why I love Michigan is its biodiversity. Very few land preservation organizations maintain as many properties as well as MNA does. And Michigan Audubon owns 18 bird sanctuaries around the state. So I appreciate the fact that we can work together and learn from each other and talk about what habitats we're impacting and maybe even connecting those habitats to create less habitat fragmentation.
We're always going to be that land conservancy, that land trust. You know, that's our bedrock. But we have to start thinking about supplementing that. Our thinking is sort of a fourfold approach. Reinvesting in our sanctuary system around the state, collaborating with researchers to understand the emerging threats and how to adapt and respond to those threats. Reinvesting in environmental education so the next generation understands their role in this cycle of protecting these special places. The fourth thing is really just working together as a conservation community. The Michigan Nature Association protects, for a number of different plants and animal species, the finest or sometimes the only remaining habitat in Michigan. And so when you look at the 180 properties in 60 different counties as sort of a portfolio, we've got something to be really proud of. Everybody needs nature, and in today's world, nature needs everybody. We really have to come together. We protect Michigan nature. We protect it for everyone, and we strive to protect it forever.